What's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to talk about the Tactile Knives Bear, or Tactile Knife Company Bear, pronounced Bear, but it is spelled B-E-X-A-R. It's named after a county in Texas, which their first couple knives were named after Texas counties. The first one was the Rockwall. We'll show that in just a quick sec. But yeah, before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and show the slip that I carried it in. This is from Erica's EDC. Yep, she's a leather maker, and it's formed a nice kind of patina on this one in a nice shape form. This one was excellent. It's a camo-carrot, was the coloring scheme that I liked. So separate review coming on that in the future. It'll be reviewed with a few other slips. So let's jump into this knife. Tactile, as I mentioned, they named their earlier models after counties in Texas, and Bexar is the home county of San Antonio. And then the first one was the Rockwall. Let's go ahead and pop out the Rockwall. It was actually a flipper knife. I'll go ahead and link the review up there so you can see that. Very similar blade profiles. This one is a drop point, and the Bexar is actually a little clip point there. But in terms of actual cutting size and then length, also it has a very similar milling pattern. Yeah, so you know what? Why not just keep what's good and improve what you can in that context? So that is the flipper. By the way, Maverick and Dreadeye are not counties in Texas. Maverick is a city, but Dreadeye is not a city or a county. It just, I guess, fit their specific fixed blade a little bit better. This is a modern traditional slip joint. That basically what it means is it's a traditional slip joint. It is not a locking folding knife. It just has a back spring on this one. You have to open it up and rely on the spring. Therefore, you're going to want to be very careful and not utilize this for, any kind of stabbing motion, because it can cut you there. Oh, did I just cut myself? I think I did. Well, we'll just keep moving on, though. So that's essentially what a modern traditional is. It utilizes modern materials. This one has a Magnacut blade. Well, I'm jumping into there a little bit. All right, let's jump into that while we're at it. This knife sports a 2.87-inch blade made of Magnacut steel. It's actually HRC'd at in between 63 and 64 HRC. It did very, very well. This knife weighs 2.0 ounces, and it prices between $200 for the plain Jane, and this one was actually $249 or $250. This was kind of decked out as the Nintendo 8-bit. I grew up kind of a computer video game playing dude, and so I was like, oh yeah, that's the one for me. I actually was on a different, I think it was Nintendo 64 was the first I had used of Nintendo, but I had used Atari and other video games. So this one has the coloring scheme, A and B, the buttons, all the colors that you'd see on the Nintendo 8-bit. So, they do that. That's one of the cool things that Tactile Knife does do is they kind of basically build, themes and so forth, and they'll even match pens with them. So that's kind of what it is. As far as some comparisons and alternatives, I meant to show this real quick, just because I'm not going to remember to mention this again. I normally don't. This is extremely thin blade stock, 0.06 inches, 1.5 millimeters, and it did very, very well. I definitely did when I was cutting food. More often my use case was bringing this out at restaurants where I didn't necessarily want to bring out my bigger flippers, and I would just pull this out to cut steak or something. And yeah, it did lose against ceramic, but just in that belly there. So as one would expect, it's a secondary carry. This could be a primary carry, wasn't certainly mine. So as far as some other comparisons or alternatives, this is the Bexar Barlow, a much smaller blade. But again, that was also 2 ounces. It has N690 steel, as well as an integral copper bolster in ironwood. So it's modern stainless steel. This knife actually went for $270. I will link that review up there. And then we'll go ahead and do the last couple here. Is a Great Eastern Cutlery. This is the Model 82. And I'm specifically pulling out this clip point blade. I guess California clip point, I think, is nearly the full length. But if you take a look at it, it is very similar, and the thickness of these blades is very similar too. So as a big knife goes, but take a look at the handles. The handles are extremely different. This one has stag, which is essentially deer antler. Gives you kind of a full hand grip if you did need to do something. You're not going to get quite a full hand grip on this one. So did I mark that as a con? No, just because everything's a series of trade-offs. The one that I really kind of thought, oh, and that was a I bought that $225 used. And then the last one, which I think is probably closer to overall really what your comparison is. You're talking a titanium frame. This one's titanium as well, or integrated bolsters, I should say, as part of your framing. This one has carbon fiber overlays. I guess they're called covers in the slip joint world. Done in China. We had Germany and then USA, and this one was also USA made knife. This knife goes for $300 though, against roughly $250 or $200 for the base model. But of course, what you're getting with those sorts of things is the add-ons and so forth. In this case, it's a DLC covered blade for the Bexar. So I think, this is the Big Bro Jack from Jack Wolf Knives. I think that's probably really the territory. The uber thin behind the edge is definitely the way that it behaved, and so I think that's probably your closest. And coming from China, $300, USA $250-ish. If you can go down to just the plain Jane, $200 is what you're going to get this for. The pull weight on this particular slip joint, in my very unscientific method, it basically I had to push 1.4 pounds on against a scale. So, and what's funny is I always do that not necessarily to determine what I find the pull weight to be, but as a confirmation. And I kind of felt, I was like, this is a 4.5 to 5, and it is. It's kind of a middle weight of 4.5 out of 10. And this one required 1.4 pounds, which was very similar to this Bexar Barlow in terms of that one. And that one I think I had rated as a 5.5 pull weight. So it's not going to be a hefty spring. It does have a nice half stop there. Appreciate that. The walk and talk, let me go ahead and go quiet. So they're not great. It's one of those things, you have a lot of like DLC coating and that sort of stuff on here, Cerakoting. Also, it does utilize, well, I'm jumping into one of the cons, but I'll jump into it and talk about it. There is a stop pin down there. It doesn't use kind of a proper kick in the sense where it basically has a chunk of metal that forms part of the tang that slaps against the back spring, and it just doesn't have that. I don't know, it just feels a little bit empty in the hand. So that's the one thing that I will say is the walk and talk aren't spectacular. They're not bad by any means though. Let's jump into the pros of this knife. It is very thin and light. Obviously thin, obviously light. With this lanyard that came with it, of course, to meet the coloring scheme, but you could take this off and the base one doesn't have that. It's with this weight on it, it's 2 ounces. So minus that, it's going to be 1.8 ounces. You literally don't even know you're carrying this. Absolutely, just get the plain Jane if you're looking for just a nice slip joint that'll last you the rest of your life. Don't have to sharpen it too much. Magnacut blade, absolutely get that. Locking blades are not allowed in your country or your region. By all means, this would be excellent. Just the regular Magnacut. It's going to cut 95% of everything you need. In all honesty, it genuinely is. The DLC coating on this one is not only a great friction fighter, it does reduce the friction so you can slip through stuff, but it was quite resilient. This one did not take on kind of any scratches or whatever, so very well done. I appreciated that. The lanyard pin on this one, being such a thin and small knife, I really do appreciate they have a nice hidden lanyard pin there, and that was very, very good. You're not going to see that on many slip joints. I won't say none, but you're not going to see it on many, especially this small and thin. So that is a gigantic win on that one. Definitely when you're pulling it out of your slip, or even just from your pocket, finding it and kind of orienting your hand to get your finger on there. Okay, you got it. Boom. It's really, really nice. So very, very good thing. It has a double nail nick on this particular knife. So it doesn't have a long pull, so it's not like a really long fuller cut in there, but it is short. But what you don't have to do is you don't have to rely on your fingernails specifically. You can just pinch this with the skin of your hands, and that's kind of one of the, if you have to look for the good side on the weaker back spring and pull weight, is that you can easily open this without having to have fingernails. For people that don't have strong fingernails, or just don't have long ones or whatever, they have to cut them short for their work. For example, on the Jack Wolves, you actually have, generally speaking, you don't have to utilize the nail nick with your nail, but on this Great Eastern cutlery, you definitely do. you're not going to be getting in there without actually utilizing your nail on that nail nick. So that's definitely, I think, a very positive on this one, but it does keep a very low profile. It doesn't necessarily rely on a very tall blade to get that capability. It's a very capable blade. 63, 64 hardness. That's really, really good. You're not going to see that in your 1095 steel, right? That's what this GEC has. And in all honesty, you're not going to see that on the N690 here on this one, and you're not going to see that also on the S90V, though you could, from Jack Woes. It's probably closer to the 60, 61, maybe 62. They do things right there as far as the blade, so you're not going to have to sharpen this much, and it maintains a nice edge. So I really appreciate that. Let's jump into the cons of this. It does use a stop pin, as I mentioned. Deep down in there, I don't know if that'll show. Maybe, maybe not. But it does use a stop pin that runs against the side of this tang to stop it. And that keeps the blade from smacking up against the back spring there. You know what? Is it terrible? No, it's not. It's just, a smaller point of potential failure versus a traditional kick, which would basically, over a lifetime, just bump up against that. So could something happen? Yeah, it's just for budgety blades, fully expect it. Maybe not for the higher end ones. And this one's in that kind of higher end price range. I would say that. So, and the last thing I would say is for myself, this is maybe a preference, I would sacrifice a little bit of this thinness for maybe a slight bit of contouring. This flat, really, when I was cutting boxes, I won't say it does slip, but it wants to slip. So you want to grip real hard just because it is so thin. And then likewise, also, you could get a stronger back spring in there. This one is essentially limited by the thinness of that back spring there, unless it doesn't have a gigantic pull weight and resistance weight to coming back. Not a huge deal. Again, everything's a series of trade-offs, but for myself, I would trade a little bit. You could probably still keep the thing under, maybe 2.8 ounces. So you'd still be under that 2.8 inches for a sub 3 ounce knife for myself. Overall, what would I say is this is an excellent modern traditional slip joint. It really did everything I needed. It favors saving space and weight without sacrificing slicing ability and really overall toughness. Are you going to want to twist and open something with this? No. Very thin and not with a slip joint anyway. You wouldn't want to. But can this cut and slice with anything else that you're going to be carrying? Absolutely. So overall, yeah, I'd say, it's a pretty good attempt. Buy Tactile knife, and I think it is a worthy buy. For myself, I would probably, go for a plain Jane and just let it sit and float in my pocket and not have to worry about kind of protecting this and even putting it into a slip. Because the great thing is about this, you have no parts that you're going to really, other than just dropping some oil in there, you're going to ever have to maintenance. So, yeah, those are my feelings on it. I hope this was interesting. If not useful, I appreciate the like and subscribe if it was. Have a great day. Take care.